Hey everybody, it's time for my weekly video. This week we are going to talk about vacancy rate. What is vacancy rate? Well, it's extremely important. Loan officers feed on it. Investors look at it distrustfully. Landlords hope it's not too high, and the average person just really has no clue what it is. Um, First of all, most of the time people will ask me, what is a good vacancy rate? Across the country, an average vacancy rate is anywhere from 5 to 8. I mean, you can obviously use a bad vacancy rate to your advantage when you're buying a property, or if you're an investor selling one and you have a low vacancy rate, that's going to work to your advantage. Real quick, I'm not going to get into in great length on how to calculate vacancy rate. It's actually pretty simple. On a single family home, you have 12 months. If it's vacant 1 month, your vacancy rate is 8.3%. If you have a 20 unit complex, that means there's 240 months total that could be rented. You have one unit, let's just say that's vacant the entire year, you're going to be at a 5% vacancy rate. What I find when people are calculating vacancy rate, I see these pro formas worked up when I'm on the buy side, and you'll typically just see a 4% vacancy rate. And I'm running numbers with someone, and they're like, okay, so that means it was vacant 4% of the year. What people tend to leave out and not talk about is economic vacancy rate. Economic vacancy rate is basically any unit that's not yielding an income. That can be a manager's unit. That can be a discount on a manager's unit. That could be a unit undergoing renovation. But most importantly, and especially when you're talking on C properties with high turnover, people that aren't paying rent, that is economic vacancy. I mean, you can be 100% filled, occupied, but if 50% of the people aren't paying, and you're taking them to eviction court, that's huge. So, economic vacancy rate is something to consider when you're analyzing a multi-unit property. You just don't want to see, hey, there's a 4 or an 8% vacancy. You want to look at economic vacancy. And there's a lot of ways to determine that. One, we can go and look at tax returns and see what they actually collected the year before. We can look at leases. Leases are a telltale sign. If someone has been in there multiple years, no one's going to let somebody stay that long without evicting them. But there's a lot of ways to determine this. So, if you want to talk more about vacancy rate, or you have some questions about economic vacancy rate, give me a call, 315-928-5394. I would be happy to talk about this with you. See you next week. Thanks.